All right, I brought notes this time, which I've never done, so you guys get ready. Thank you all. Thank you so much. You all are the lifeblood of what we do, especially all you guys who are running the marinas. And I know we don't say thank you enough, but you guys are what make it all happen. And we truly appreciate it so much. Basically, the state of Suntex right now is very strong. We're very well capitalized. We have an awesome pipeline. Thanks to Filler and Redmond and their team, we've got the most robust pipeline ever. We've got a great team, and all of us and all of our teams, but we got to take it to the next level. And in order to do that, and to do what no one else has ever done in this industry, we've got to really focus on our purpose, our values, and our culture. And it's up to all of us to figure that out. I've been thinking about that a lot. A lot of us have been having conversations about it. You know, Ron T, Redmond, Petty, Steven, and it's so important for all of us to be just focusing on who we are, how we can change the world in a positive way, and who we want to be. And it's not me getting up here and saying, hey, here's our purpose. It's not Chris Petty telling you what our purpose is or our values are. It's all of us collaborating on that and figuring out what's non-negotiable as far as our core values and how we want to change the world. So I brought a couple things, because again, I've really been spending a lot of time thinking about this, meeting with other companies about it, and focusing on purpose. You know, why do we exist, and how can we change the world in a positive way? And I've got a couple of good examples, I believe, for us to start considering as we define who we are. So, Satori Capital, who many of you know, so they're our biggest investor in the fund right now, so they're very committed to us. They are personally, the principals there are very good friends and just awesome guys. So here's their stated purpose. We exist to create, fund, and inspire businesses that elevate humanity. So that's pretty freaking cool. It took them 2 years to come up with that. They've got all their core values and everything as well. This is one value that I think is really cool. I'm not going to go through all these. We believe that how a company behaves is more important than what the company produces. By setting an example of consciousness and inspired leadership, all of the company's stakeholders are enriched and will bring the approach to their own relationships. So, to these guys, that's so powerful. So I've done this on a personal level, and it's so cool. It takes a long time and a lot of work to come up with purpose and values and who we really are. And I want all of us again to think about that and to collaborate and do it together. So another company that I met with recently, and I feel what they're doing, and I've met with their top guys. It's Interstate Batteries, and this is pretty intense, right? Here's their purpose. And they do this, they've got 1,700 employees and they're kicking ass out there. Their purpose is to glorify God and enrich lives as we deliver the most trustworthy source of power to the world. That's pretty freaking bold, right? All right, values. So our values are our fundamental beliefs, who we are. Once we collaborate, we and our teams collaborate and figure out what our values are, these are non-negotiable. So for any of us, we got to live them. We got to not only say them and believe them, but we got to live them. When we bring on somebody new, you know, we're going to have 1,000 employees before we know it. When we bring on any new team members, they've got to get these core values. If somebody's not living them, they're not going to be part of our team. And if we are, we're going to be thriving. That's going to define who we are. Okay, let me read you a couple more. So, on Interstate Batteries, here's their values, and their values drive the purpose. So, love, treat others like you want to be treated. Servant's heart, lead with what people need. Excellence, do great things with the gifts you've been given. Courage, learn, improve, and boldly drive change that matters. Fun, work hard, laugh often. We got that one good. Team, together we're better. Integrity, be who you are and live up to your commitments. So again, I'm not saying these should be ours, but this is stuff that we all need to be thinking about, because we're going to define who we are and what our values are. So I was looking back through all my files, and at Sun Resorts, as we were evolving at Sun Resorts, the executive team, we didn't get all the team members involved like we should have, so these never got rolled out. But this is what we had come up with, and this is from, these were from notes from like 2003. So, and we called them guiding principles, and Stephen has suggested calling them pillars, which I think actually makes a lot of sense. So, we work hard at everything we do. We We try to have as much fun as possible. We live and work with integrity. We focus on providing our customers with a positive experience. We put our employees first and trust them to act responsibly. We give our investors a fair return. We maintain high-performance teams. So this is stuff for us to think about, and we're going to be reaching out to everyone and collaborating on all this. And the process is going to be fun as we define all this and hold each other accountable as we live it. All right, culture. So this is actually really cool. All right, and again, culture, we've already got a culture. It's who we are and it's what we do. It's not what somebody says we do or not what we say we do. But culture, I'm convinced, is so important. As we grow and take this to the next level and do what no one's ever done in this industry and really change the world. So Sonny actually sent me this, and I think it's very appropriate. So I'm gonna actually have to PG-13 it. But this is from the CEO of Airbnb, who's a $10 billion company right now. They were just in the Wall Street Journal, and then some young guys found it. So this is from the CEO a little over a year ago after they just landed a $150 million investor, and they were meeting with the guy that invested $150 million. So the CEO writes this, all right? Hey team, and I think this is so on point and relevant to what we're doing. Hey team, our next team meeting is dedicated to core values, which are essential to building our culture. It occurred to me that before this meeting, I should write you a short letter on why culture is so important to us. After we close, I'm going to paraphrase this, just after we close our Series C offering with our big investor for $150 million, we're meeting with him. Midway through the conversation, I asked him what was the single most important piece of advice he had for us. He replied, this is an important one, don't F up the culture. That's what he said. The guy said, don't F up the culture. The CEO says, this wasn't what we're expecting from someone who just gave us $150 million. I asked him to elaborate on this. He said one of the reasons he invested in us was our culture. And that's why people invest with us. But he had a somewhat cynical view that was practically inevitable once a company gets to a certain size to F it up. How depressing, I thought. We were destined to eventually F up our culture. We talked about it a bit more, and it became clear that it was possible to defend and actually build a culture. But it had to be one of the things we were most focused on. I thought to myself, how many company CEOs are focused on culture above all else? Is it the metric they measure closest? Is it what they spend most of their hours on each week? Culture is simply a shared way of doing something with passion, which we've got. Our culture is the foundation for our company. We may not be remembered for much after we're gone, and if Airbnb is around 100 years from now, surely we won't be a booking website for homes. We'll be far past this in our evolution. I don't read the rest of this. The thing that will endure for 100 years, the way it has for most 100-year companies, which we're going to be, is the culture. The culture is what creates the foundation for all future innovation. If you break the culture, you break the machine that creates your products. All right, listen to this, please. How do we build a culture? By upholding our core values in everything we do. Culture is 1,000 things, 1,000 times. It's living the core values when you hire, when you write an email. I gotta be mindful of that. When you're working on a project, when you're walking in the hall, we have the power by living the values to build a culture. We also have the power by breaking the values to F up the culture. Each one of us has this opportunity and this burden. Almost done. Why is culture so important to a business? Here's a simple way to frame it. The stronger the culture, the less corporate process a company needs. When the culture's strong, you can trust everyone to do the right thing. People can be independent and autonomous. They can be entrepreneurial. If we have a company that is entrepreneurial in spirit, we'll be able to take our next man or woman to the moon. Ever notice how families or tribes don't require much process? That's because there's such a strong trust and culture, and it supersedes any process. In an organization or a society where culture is weak, you need an abundance of heavy, precise rules and processes. There are days when it's easy to feel the pressure of our own growth expectations, other days when we need to ship product, others when we're still dealing with the latest government relations issue. It's easy to get consumed by these, and they're all very important, but compared to culture, they're relatively short-term. These problems will come and go, but culture is forever. Again, this is a $10 billion company. They were where we are right now, and they got it how important this is. This is one of the most important things we can be doing right now. All right, so we are obviously at a major tipping point with Suntex. I know there's a lot of stress in the system. I know you guys have covered a lot of this over the last couple of days and bringing us all together as a team. It's not going to be easy to take this to the next level. No one on the planet has done it. No one has done what we're doing as far as building the company we're building and revolutionizing this industry. But we're going to do it, but it's going to take focusing on our culture, on our values. It's going to take getting aligned as a team, having unity, trust, communication, having each other's backs. And it's going to be worth it. I mean, we're going to do it. Again, no one has ever done this before. I want you guys to think about the purpose. As we define our purpose and as we all agree on what our purpose is and how we can change the world, how cool is it going to be when every one of us can not only state what our purpose is, and all of y'all's employees, all of y'all's teams, we have 1,000 employees, where you can walk up to anybody on a dock, the service department, whatever, you can say, hey, what's the purpose of Suntex? And they can tell you, boom, here's what it is. And you know what else? I'm part of something bigger, and here's what I'm doing right now to effectuate that purpose, to achieve that. We're not there, all right? And it's going to take a while to get there, but when we do, how powerful. We can do that. We can change the world. We can change the world in a much better way, not just for all of our stakeholders, but for a lot of people. That's really, that just gets me really pumped up and passionate. So anyway, I want everyone to be thinking about that. But the last thing I want to say, and I know that Chris and Ron and Brian have covered this over the last couple of days, but we at the home office are here to serve you guys. I know we haven't acted like it, and I know we haven't communicated as well as we should, but we're here to serve you guys. We mean that, and look, we've got a long ways to go, but we're going to focus on that. We're going to communicate better. We're going to serve you. That's what we're here for. Thank you all. The one other thing I want to say is that I want everybody to really get behind and get motivated about Folds of Honor. We did great things last year, you know, thanks to Bob and Ron and everybody at Liberty and all of you all who participated. But let's get total buy-in. This is another thing that can bring us together where we can really give back to others. In this case, it's the families of deceased and disabled vets. And it's such an awesome cause. So I want all of you to really get behind it, and let's collaborate. And tonight, and Josh, you all can lead this. But let's really get behind this for Patriot Voting Day. We can do awesome things. We can change a lot of lives through Folds of Honor. Thank y'all. And you two aren't allowed to ask questions, but anyone else? No, not you, Bob. Those two. It's a lunch and learn thing together.
Awesome.
You guys have any questions or comments? Y'all get that? Does that make sense?